All right, so somebody asked me to do a top 10 list of steel guitar albums, and as of today, this would be the list. It's kind of a fun group of records. All right, we'll get right into it. Here we go, number 10. Oh, it's Alvino Ray of the King family at the console guitar, as it says here, and he is with the, what does that say? The Ralph Carmichael Orchestra. Well, I'll tell you a funny story about this record. I only got this album because I was doing that episode about Alvino. I wanted to have at least one record to show of his. And I got it and started listening to it, and it was like, kind of blew my mind, actually. I mean, this is a very deep and profound album. It's all those the old faithfuls. What a Friend We Have in Jesus, In the Garden, Old Rugged Cross. I'll play a little sample just so you can hear what it sounds like. Highly recommended, Alvino Ray. Number 9. So I guess we got to have one Buddy Emmons record in here. Pretty cool picture too there of Buddy Emmons with his, maybe that's his wife or girlfriend. So the bucket says Lulu. I forget the story on that now, but he's doing Linus and Lucy, the Peanuts. That's the first song, Linus and Lucy medley from the Peanuts. Oh, it's incredible. Now there's a couple other records. For me, yeah, I really like this record a lot. It's man, but is this why does it's kind of funny that he has her putting that 80-pound steel guitar in the trunk while he's just standing there with the bucket. I don't know if that's on purpose to be funny. Number 8 is going to be, well, just did a video on this. Stoneway Records put this out, Stealin'. To tell you the truth, there's one I like better than this, and my real pick for number 8 would be the Hits of Hank Snow, 2009. But that album is so obscure, it's so hard to find that, like, I think I'm the only person I've ever met who has a copy of it. I've just put it up on the channel, you can check it out. If I had to go with a close second on Caton, it would be this album here, Stealin'. And cool album cover, again. What's he doing? The Caton's Rag, Stealing the Blues, Mood Indigo, yeah. What else? Stomping at the Savoy, Terra's Theme, a lot of really good stuff on here. I like the real old steel guitar records myself. I like that old sound. Number 7. This is Doug Jernigan, Bucky Pizzarelli on Flying Fish Records. And this is one of those records that I have listened to so many times that almost make me sick to put it on now. I must have listened to it 100 times or more. It's that good of an album. It's just a really, you know, Flying Fish had this real cool concept for making records where they would pair an artist with someone from like a different genre and just pair them up and see what would come out. So they had a lot of really cool records. Cool label too, Flying Fish. This one is 1978. All right, number 6. Zane Beck plays the new ZB student guitar. This might be my favorite steel guitar album artwork of all time. If a picture could speak 1,000 words, I don't know. I don't know what Zane Beck was like in real life, but this just cracks me up every time I see this photo. And this guitar does look pretty nice that he has. I don't know a whole lot about it. It's a 12-string. I know it's just got the 3 pedals, but you'll tell by the records I've chosen here that the sound I really like are those early kind of steel guitars that were not entirely worked out, the mechanics on them. They were a little quirky, certainly not the kind of standard E9 pedal steel guitars that you hear from the 90s forward. A lot of these older records, and especially stuff from the 60s, guys were still playing, and guys and girls, I guess you could say, they were still playing on like homemade guitars and stuff, and I just love the sound of that early stuff. So this record is just totally incredible. There's some singing on here, which I do not like, and I do not recommend vocals on an instrumental album. It's kind of a buzzkill when I'm sitting down and listening to instrumental music and someone starts singing. But anyway, Zane's Blues for the Good Times, Gentle on My Mind, a bunch of Hank Williams tunes he does here. Have You Ever Been Lonely? Too Many Miles, Cowboy Shuffle. I'll play you a sample of this right now. You gotta, if you haven't heard this record, boy, it's a fun album. Okay, so Zane Beck, that was number 6. Going to number 5. Wow. Actually, what that says is Paul Franklin, Just Pickin'. I would love to have this album, but I do not own it currently. And this, I think this came out in '77 originally. A friend of Paul Franklin's had this little label, Jabbo, and he put it out there, and they must have sold all the copies real quick because it was later reissued on Midland, which is DeWitt Scott's label, and then another label after that. And I know that Paul Franklin himself doesn't even have a copy of this. I'll put a link to as many of these records as I can in the description so you can check them out if you haven't heard it. This is just a killer album. Modern pedal steel guitar, played at the highest level with also some pretty great production capabilities by 1977 compared to the earlier stuff. So this is just always going to be a top 10 record for me. Okay, number 4, going to take Julian Tharp and Blondie Calderon. Take your pick. This is an album I just discovered recently, and it's already in the top 5 for me all-time records. I mean, this is just a mind blower. This one is just unbelievably great record. What are we doing on here? A bunch of stuff that Julian Tharp wrote himself. So a bunch of instrumentals he wrote and arranged himself, as well as Buck Snort Stomp, Gentle on My Mind, Watch What Happens, Ode to Billy Joe. So overall, and the story of Blondie Calderon too, a really interesting story. So cool to see him on this record. Wow, this is one that is on YouTube. The channel is 45 Rippin' 78 is the name of the channel. I'll put a link to it. Whoa, this record, killer album. Number 3 is gonna be Jerry Byrd, the master of touch and tone. 1979, I think. This is a pretty beat up looking copy, as you can tell. This one was waterlogged. This is the only copy I could get of it at the time. And this is just a record I never get tired of. I mean, if you consider, like with Jerry Byrd, and you look at his catalog of all his albums, his discography, like there's a bunch of records that they put out with all these strings on it and all these bad sort of effects of the 60s, and it's a little too cheesy. Except for the Admirable Byrd, you know, that's almost as good as this one. Maybe it is as good, or maybe it's better, I don't know. They're neck and neck, for sure. But for me, this was one of the most masterful performances of non-pedal, or of just any kind of steel guitar. It is the master himself, playing with his band in Hawaii, anytime, any day, Chickadee, Maui Waltz, wow. All right, number 2. I'm hoping to get a copy of this someday. But Guitar Spectacular, Speedy West. This is the album, 1962 on Capitol Records. These last 2 records I show you are the only 2 albums in this list that came out on a major label. A lot of these records were just vanity projects for the players themselves to sell on the stage, make a little extra money, and have a real physical product of it. But this album is a rare exception. This came out on Capitol Records in 1962. Speedy West was very popular back then, Speedy West and Jimmy Bryant. And this album, wow. If anyone has a copy of this and they want to sell it, you could email me, ryan@ryancook.ca. Red Wooten on bass, Earl Palmer on drums, Billy Strange on guitar, Roy Lanham as well on guitar, Billy Liebert on piano. You're not going to hear another steel guitar record with that band playing on it. So that's number 2, Speedy West, Guitar Spectacular. All right, now the big moment, number one. There it is. Curly Chalkers, Big Hits on Big Steel, just one of the coolest albums that, you know, the whole story of this record. Pete Drake producing it. It's on Columbia, so a pretty big major label debut for Curly Chalker. Big Hits on Big Steel. He's actually showed here with, what is this? This is a Showbud or something, right? But he did not play this. Again, he played one of those early pedal guitars, the Fender 1000, or maybe it was the Fender 2000 or some dispute about whether it was a single or double neck guitar, but Curly Chalker was a monster player. The vibe on this record, the band, everything is just so good. 1966, it's got that sweet, nostalgic, vintage sound. It sounds like probably a 4-track or maybe I don't know, I don't think they were on 8-track yet. This is a mono copy of the record. I do recommend a mono version of it. The stereo version, the steel is all panned to the left speaker. The steel is a little low in the mix as a result. So I waited patiently to get a mono copy, and actually this copy was owned by Red Volkart. And I've made a video telling you the whole story about why that is and how I ended up getting this record. Wolverton Mountain, King of the Road, Together Again. I mean, this is just, it's my favorite steel guitar album all time. Well, I hope that was enjoyable. Let me know who I missed, who should be in this list, or what you would have put in the top 10, and if there's any other records I should check out. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. Oh yeah, one thing I wanted to say before I shut this down. An honorable mention to this record I'll show you here. I hope I'm saying this right. Carmen Asciaioli. I think he's an Italian steel guitarist. Well, he put out this album online, so there's no physical copy of it. 2022. It's up on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. Kind of doesn't really fit in with the list here today, but you got to check this record out if you haven't heard it. Let me know. Am I crazy? What I think this is just one amazing album. He made this whole record using GarageBand, and he made it on his iPad, using virtual instruments. If you listen to it and you hear how great that record sounds, and then you compare that to all the money that was spent on these records we just talked about, it's kind of a whole other conversation. Let me know what you think of it. All right, take care, keep it country. See you again sometime.